YouTube Petey Twofinger here. Hey, happy Halloween. I'll tell you a couple of Halloween stories. This time we were staying in a apartment complex, which was the one and only time that we did that, and it did not end well. Our neighbors moved in, new family, African Americans. They had a teenage boy. It's just a mom and a dad and this boy. And the day they moved in, we heard whoop. It was this hip hop song that he was playing to let everyone know I'm here. And he played that every day for about a month. And I got to know the father, who we would see him. I seem to remember seeing him like during the holidays, and he said Merry Christmas and shook my hand. He was a gentleman, seemed like just a great guy, always smiling. We never heard any arguments or fighting from them. And the family that lived there before, we did. We did. They were deaf and they used to party, like drinking and smoking weed, crank, smoking crystal meth. Like it was just. I was over there one time and they were like, this deaf woman was going, rank, like trying to get me to smoke this pipe and telling me that it wasn't weed, it was rank. And she was all sweating and rank. And I'm like, no. Oh my goodness. So, anyway, this guy, I probably shouldn't say his name. I'll call him Howard Knight. He got kicked out of school. The apartment building was like the parking lot shared its fence with the football field for the high school. So it was the apartment complex, the football field, and then there was a little street that ran through a real like no access street that was really just more like a driveway for the high school, and then the high school. And he was caught selling weed in the school. This guy Howard Knight, we'll call him. One time I remember going out the back door, which no one ever used this back door. And I was going down to the pool or to visit someone as a shortcut, and I took that back door, and I bumped into him. He was right there smoking his blunt. That was his little blunt area. And his eyes bugged out. He was like busted, the white motherfucker from next door catching me smoking my blunt. And I said, "Hey man, it's cool. Let me get a taste of that." And I, you know, hit that, and then that was, I think, the only time I ever smoked a blunt. When I my pot smoking time was before that blunt craze. So yeah, Henry Day gets Howard Knight. Excuse me, did I say something else? Howard Knight gets caught selling weed at the local high school, and he gets expelled. So his father is stern disciplinarian, not happy with him. I believe there's some arguing happening in that week that he's at home, and he's thrown out. So he's couch surfing, and from what I remember, he had supposedly had taken LSD and went back and waited for his father. Now we had just moved out. There were roaches in that unit. And we had horrible neighbors upstairs with these kids where they were jumping off of the refrigerator to make the loudest noises they could. Um, Somehow they knew that we didn't like their noise and they tried to make as much noise as they could. In any event, we got out of there. And right when we did, like this place had a pool, I remember, and that was great. That was the whole reason we were there. So when my one daughter grew up, she grew up at that pool. I mean, she had years of. The other one probably doesn't remember it so much, but yeah, the maintenance man neglected to drain the pool over the winter, and it froze and cracked the concrete, broke the pool. Fat Mark, the landlord, who would, if a pretty girl came to rent a hotel, came in and, oh, I want to see one of these apartments, he would go, yeah, baby, I'll take you to my place. And he would just go rifling through the keys and pick somebody that he knew that had class and let them take this girl into someone else's apartment, hoping that he could mate with her or rape her. And then after they left, he would go through and clean out if they had any like food stamps or whatever he could steal. So it was really, really bad living there. Really bad. And like I said, we got out of there. Next thing you know, there's a murder. And it's this guy, Howard Knight, who had been kicked out for selling weed, couch surfing, and then the day he took LSD and waited in the hall for his father to come out to go to work. Like I said, we never heard any fighting or anything, and he went at him with a claw hammer and a butcher knife. Compound fractured his leg where his bone was sticking out, and then he started working on him with this butcher knife. And Howard Knight was huge. He was huge upper body strength. So Pat was the African American woman that I befriended. I used to fix her car, and she smoked. She was cool. I remember my daughter on the public access TV or like WTTW, they had a Tina Turner concert they used to show, and we were watching that, and she said to me, man, Pat can really sing. She thought that this lady upstairs was Tina Turner. That's the only black lady that we knew. Now, Pat was wonderful, and after the murder, we went back and spoke with her. She let us in, and we sat down, and she told us everything that she had experienced, which was she heard it. And he had come down the hall, and Howard rushed him and took him down in front of our door. And it happened at 7:15 in the morning. And when we went back, the carpet was gone. They had to remove, there was so much blood. They had to remove, it was like The Shining up in there. They had to remove this whole stretch of carpet, all like the length of my whole unit up to the door. So I would have been asleep. My wife would have been getting ready, and the kid would have been getting ready. And they would have heard all this. They would have come in and woke me up, and I would have opened the door, and I would have been out there. Pat called the police. He was out there saying, my son, why did he do this to me, my son? And I would have been out there with him. I would have been getting him blankets, and I'm so glad that we weren't there for that, because I wouldn't have needed to see that. I would have PTSD. They caught the guy, Howard. They caught him behind the school, hiding by an air conditioning unit. And I spoke to people, kids. I worked at a grocery store. I worked nights, and there were teenage kids that worked there too, like bag boys and girls. And I spoke with 3 people who knew him. And I questioned those people. I mean, I'm just a curious person. I want to know if there's a murder. I want to know. I want to know what was he like? Did he have a temper? Could you ever have an idea that this guy was capable of doing? And no. Everyone said he was just this wonderful guy. There was no, and we never heard them argue. So there's a good Halloween story for you. That same apartment where I was staying was, these kids came knocking on Halloween. And I'm like, who is this? I look out there, I can't see anybody. So I crack the door. It's these 2 little kids, like 4th grade. Trick or treat. And I go, and they don't have any costumes on. I go, no bags or nothing. They're just standing there. I go, trick or treat? What are you supposed to be? And the kid goes, oh, I'm a baseball man. He's got a cap on. And I go, oh, baseball man, that's a really good costume. Excellent. Joe DiMaggio. How? What are you? What about you? What are you supposed to be? Because his buddy didn't have a cap. And he goes, I'm a baseball man too. So I go, okay, couple baseball men. Let me get that treat for you guys. Hold on a second. It's going to take me a minute to find it. So I'm like, you guys stay here and hold this door open a little bit. Don't come in, but you can hold. So I'm making all of this racket. I'm ripping drawers open and rifling through them, swearing, and the whole time I'm trying to think, what can I get these guys with? Because I'm not going to give them money. I'm not going to give them pennies or a quarter or a dollar, and we don't have any treats. We got nothing. So finally, I come back and I'm like, oh, you guys don't even have any bags. Do you want some bags for all your treats? Because I got a lot of treats to give you. Let me get you some bags so you can carry all these candies and treats you're going to get today. So they're like, so I come back and I give them 2 plastic bags. I'm like, oh, I forgot the treats. I'm doing everything I can to make this like a joke, like the beginning, the middle, and then the 3 parts. So I go back in the house, more rifling through drawers and making noise and everything. And I come back, I go, all right, here you go. Into the one bag, into the other bag, and the kids go, what is it? I said, it's popcorn. And then they look back up at me like, because they've never seen unpopped kernels of popcorn before. And I said, well, you're going to have to pop it yourself, but it's popcorn. Then I shut the door on them. Trick or treat. Bam. So that's a slightly more uplifting Halloween story than the Howard Knight. Today we're here to review cereal. This is Aldi brand, Millville brand, which comes from Aldi. Whole grain granola, fruit and nut with real fruit and real nuts. This used to be in a cardboard cereal box, and actually a couple of times this has switched over. This is the second time they went from a cardboard box to a plastic box. And the first time we didn't realize it and I stopped buying it. And then they went back to doing the boxes and now they're back to plastic again. And my wife noticed this time. She said, hey, they've got this purple bag and I'm wondering if it's the same thing. I didn't buy it, so I went with her and looked at it. And I'm like, yeah, that's the same thing. It's the same price for the same amount. It's 12 ounces or 340 grams and you pay $2.39. So it's not really a great deal as far as like, if you're going to go there and really go budget, you can get the Cocoa Rocks, which has monkeys on the front, and that up in here, Cocoa Rocks will cost you like $1.29 for a tall box. So this is like about twice as much, but it fills you up good. The thing with this cereal is if you eat it in a normal portion, which is a lot for me, you'll get 3 servings. They say 6 servings, and if you dish it out as what they say, it's not a lot. It's like this much in the bowl, just a little bit. But there's real good chewy raisins in here if you like raisins. It's got a coconutty kind of aftertaste, maybe almost a little bit of cinnamon hint to it. So good that my old pal Augustus, the black cat, used to love to come around and sniff this, and he would actually consume the milk. When I would be finished, I would save a little teaspoon for him and put it down. And sometimes he would consume it, other times he wouldn't. Kita, my new friend, he'll sniff it, but he won't drink it. So yeah, this is really good stuff, and it's switched over into this bag. So if you're an Aldi shopper, if you're not an Aldi shopper, you should really go. You can save some serious cash there. And this is the best cereal that they have there. Now, they've got different versions of it. There's a yellow one that has bananas in it. That's kind of an overpowering, almost an artificially sweetened taste of banana. And if you like that artificial banana taste, like banana candy, maybe you'd like the cereal. I didn't really care for it. They have this dark chocolate almond granola cereal. right next to it, and of course I had to try it. It's disgusting. So avoid the Simply Nature non-GMO dark chocolate almond granola cereal. If you're a chocolate lover, uh, this isn't for you because it doesn't taste like chocolate. It tastes like it's just gross. It's not good. They should have had honest taste testers. If you had a room of honest taste testers, this never would have made it to market. This is awful cereal. It's awful. I'm going to gift this to my wife. Hopefully, she'll eat it. She tends to um, not notice if something isn't quite right or good. She'll go, "It's fine." So that's like I could be a food rat, and there's somebody here to get rid of that stuff that I don't care for me, which is really we make a good team. But I don't think the thing about this is I don't think she would ever go back and buy it. Like she'll finish it up, but she won't buy it, and that's telling because it's. So those were a couple Halloween stories and a cereal review. I'll see you guys soon, and peace.